What's going on, YouTube fam, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about, is it necessary for you to have a local phone number here in Mexico? Now, it depends. I know, I'm one of the persons that really can't stand when people say, well, it depends. But in this one, it really depends. So we're going to talk about it in this video. I'm going to tell you in what circumstances I think you need a phone, what circumstances I think you don't, the benefits of having one, and how if you are coming from areas like the US, Canada, Caribbean, or maybe even European or any other places where your cell phone service could work in Mexico, how you can make that work too without having to get a Mexican phone number if you don't want to. Now, let's just start. It depends on what your intention is here. If you're going to stay in Mexico just for a while, if you're just exploring, if you're going to be here, I don't know, for however long, a short period of time. Also, if you're planning on living here too, it makes it different. So let's talk about the short term. Now, the short term, is it necessary? Not really. Is it helpful? Yeah, just in case, like maybe you may not be able to pick up internet from your carrier back home and your phone may not work here. So in that case, having a local number is good. In that case, you can stay connected to the internet, do what you got to do. If you got to order Uber, if you got to get online, Google Maps, whatever it may be, okay? So that's one thing there. Now, if you're staying for an extended period of time, it's really good too as well, because like I said, you, in any event you need for emergency and your phone doesn't work, and even let's say you have two phones, right? Let's say you have two phones and they're both unlocked, of course. You could put a SIM card in there, boom. So you can keep your main phone if you're coming from a country where your phone works here in Mexico, and have a second one, so that'll work out well. So you have a Mexican number, and just in case of anything, or if you need to call local numbers in Mexico, it's a lot easier as well, okay? So there's a couple reasons I can say that are good to have them. Now, of course, if you live here, and I know, and I'm gonna get flack for this, but there's a reason why I haven't, well, I do have a Mexican phone number, all right? We'll say that. But I haven't bought a separate phone to use it, okay? So I still use my phone from the United States. I still keep that number, and I keep it for various reasons to stay connected, for work purposes, things like that. And I have T-Mobile. So T-Mobile, I get the service in Canada, Mexico, and I believe some parts of the Caribbean, and no charge. So I connect to the local network here, which is Telcel, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest network here in Mexico. And it works fine. It works just fine. So I can use the internet, make calls, do whatever I got to do. Now, I do have a Mexican phone number. I'm not going to lie, I just keep forgetting to buy like a cheap phone just to have it, online, because this phone I have right now, it's not unlocked. My last iPhone was, but then I ended up updating it last year. So when I went back to the US, so, when it's paid off, I can unlock it. But anyway, I'm going to get another one, and I'm going to do it. I need to write it down, okay? But yes, so for me, it works because I'm mainly going back and forth to the US and Mexico. So my phone works here perfectly, no issues. I mean, the internet, everything is good. Now, there's a limit on the internet. It's like 5G of high-speed data, and after that, it slows down. So mainly, if I'm in my house, I use the Wi-Fi, so it's not a big deal. It's not using a whole lot of the bandwidth of the internet, but it definitely is good to have it, in this way, to be able to, what I mean is to be able to use my phone back from the US here. Now, I think if you're moving to Mexico and you're going to live here, I think it's a good idea to get a local Mexican number. And there's a few reasons why. Let's say, for example, you need to open a bank account. Let's say, example, you need to order something like furniture or any kind of service, anything like that. If you need to communicate with people, call local numbers. If for government reasons, if you want to get paperwork done, a bunch of those types of reasons, it's necessary to have a phone number here, because some will require that. You go to open a bank account. Oh, what's your phone number? You need to have a Mexican phone so they can verify your account and things like that. So those are the things. So if you're planning on settling down here, I do recommend getting a Mexican phone number, a SIM card, and it's not even expensive. You can get a Mexican SIM card for very cheap, and you can get the prepaid ones from Telcel and other companies like AT&T. Just put whatever that's cheap as 50 pesos, even just to have it on an active line. You don't have to use it all the time, but just to have an active line, it's worth it, okay? So you can get a prepaid. They got monthly plans, all kinds of different plans and packages, and it's cheaper than the United States if you want to get a consistent plan, or if you just want to have the line, you can just spend 50 pesos and just have an active number, so those things are good as well. Now, I'm also going to show you all some of the best the operators, cell phone operators rather, providers that operate here. And I'm gonna show you a little bit about that. And, just kind of tell you how easy it is to get an actual phone number here and a phone. Some places require you gotta show this document and that and all kinds of stuff. In Mexico, you just walk into any phone shop. I want to get a phone, prepaid, whatever, boom, they don't need to see ID, nothing like that. You got it in your hands, you're good to go, okay? So next, we're going to get into showing you some of the different companies and telling you basically how it works to get a phone, all right? So stay tuned. Okay, so we're back here, and right now, I'm going to show you the top 3 companies that operate in Mexico that are the best cell phone companies to use here. And the number 1, of course, is Telcel. As you can see, it's the national carrier. And if you guys ever heard of Carlos Slim, he founded this company a while ago, and it has the fastest internet speeds in Mexico in terms of mobile. And you can kind of see, you can pretty much buy anything, and it has all of the things you may need. I mean, everything you can imagine, internet, whatever you want, okay? And then here, you can buy phones online, you can check the plans they have, and you can kind of go down and see the different internet packages, Sin Límite, Claro, which is another Mexican company that Carlos Slim founded. And if you're familiar with the rest of Latin America, Claro is all over the place. So yeah, basically you could do everything on here. You can order, get phone service set up, and get it delivered directly to your door. I mean, you could even you can even have it in English. You can choose your location. I mean, it is quite impressive. And this is the one that my cell phone, but T-Mobile automatically connects to. So yeah, I mean, you got pretty much everything. It's going to give you everything you need to know, all the options. You could buy phones on here, the whole 9, all right? So Telcel is the biggest one here, and I recommend that when coming to Mexico. And like I said, you can get those SIM cards prepaid easily in any cell phone shop, okay? So AT&T is the next one. Now, a lot of you from the US and Canada recognize AT&T. It is an American company, but they have a large division here in Mexico. And as you can see too, you can do your whole thing, buy it online, select the type of phones you want, different types of plans here. And yeah, I mean, really it just depends on what your preference is. They all have good service. Some may be pricier than others. AT&T is a little more pricier, depending on what you want and what you prefer. But you can see different plans here, prepaid, as you can see. To renew your plan, here's a list of cell phones. You could go and check this out like any other website, and you can see, look, all the Androids. And then if you want to filter it out by the type, Samsung, Apple, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, another giant in the cell phone game in Mexico. And the third biggest one, and if you've been around Latin America, you've probably seen this, is Movistar. And Movistar as well is the third biggest in Mexico. And you can see, offers a phone, similar type setup, all kinds of different phones. You could choose from the amount of gigs, everything on here. It also has pretty good service. It's not as common as AT&T and Telcel, but people do use it. And it is, as you can see, very professional website all around Mexico. You can pretty much atención al cliente. So, I mean, everything, prepaids, plans, everything here as well. And you can filter all the types of smartphones. You can see all of that, iPhone, Samsung, everything here, okay? So yes, these are the giants. Just want to show you all what that looks like. And basically, if you're interested, you can just go to Google, type in Movistar Mexico, type in AT&T Mexico, type in Telcel, and it'll pop up, and you can kind of search through and see which ones work for you, all right? So that's that, and let's go to close and tell you a little bit more info. All right, so before I close the video, I wanted to talk to you about a couple things too. That's one thing I forgot to mention. So if you're coming from the United States, now I'm not sure about Canada, it may be similar, but if you're coming from the United States and you're planning on staying extended time in Mexico, or even if you're just passing and staying in Mexico for like a little while, visiting, your cell phone most likely will work here. If you have one of the major carriers like T-Mobile, if you also have Verizon, AT&T, I may be missing some other ones, US Cellular if you're from the Midwest, Chicago area. A lot of these companies will have packages, or maybe it may be in your plan already where you can go to Canada, you can go to Mexico, you can go to the Caribbean and speak for free, use your cell phone, receive calls, make calls, hop on the internet, all right? So if you have one of those, most likely it's built in your plan. If not, and you're interested in having that, I mean, it's like the upgrades are like so cheap, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of options you could do. I would just consult with your cell phone company and see if that's included in your plan, because that will work. And let's say, for example, you come here and you're here for a while and you need to take calls, it'll work just normal. Like people will call you from the US or from Canada and just like you're back home, you know what I mean? So that is a really good way. Consult with your cell phone provider and see if those packages are included if you don't have them already. If you may be on top of the game, and I'm just preaching to the choir here, but if not, definitely check those out, because it does help and it works just fine. I never have any issues at all. So, in closing, is it necessary to have a cell phone in Mexico? No. Is it good? Yes, it's a very good thing to have a local number, especially if you're here for prolonged periods of time. Like I said, for important services, products, whatever situation you may need it in, if you need to give it for whatever it may be, important things, it's good to have. It's good to have, okay? So, in that case, I would say, and like I said, it's very affordable, and you need to buy another phone. Like, you can, if you have a phone with dual SIM, you can just pop it in there. You got 2 SIMs. If you got an extra phone you won't really use, just use that. Buy a prepaid card, slip it in there. You're good to go. Or if you're willing to spend it, like $50 for like a cheap phone, there you go. You're good to go, and you got, you know what I mean? You got what you need. So, in closing, it's good to have one, but it's not necessary. But remember, it just depends on what you need, what you're looking for. If you're just visiting for like a little while, it's not really necessary. It helps in some cases, but if you can use your internet service and your cell phone service from home here, and then you're just passing through, you don't really need one. But if you're planning on staying prolonged periods of time, I would recommend it. And if you plan on settling here, I would say, yeah, it's a bit necessary, all right? So that's the end of the video. I hope you all found value in this one. I thought it was a good topic to cover because, it's important to know these types of things, all right? Let me know what you thought in the video, what your experience is. If you are using your cell phone back from your country, does it work here? I'm interested to know what you all think. Like the video, don't forget that. Subscribe if you haven't. And I want to thank you all for tuning in, all my subscribers, all the new viewers. Even if you're just passing through, appreciate you all right? So until the next video, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll catch you soon on the next one. Peace.